Hey, what's up, buddy?
Hey, what's going on, man?
What's going on? How are you? I got an idea.
What's that?
I should say I had a good idea. When I was in college, when I used to kick, I always thought about how I would perform if I had like a little six pack on the sideline next to like the bench or something next to my kicking net,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
just
basically
drinking
just
before
go over there.
playing or some shit.
Not getting drunk, just being like, I don't know, midway through the first quarter.
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, we've talked about that before. I mean, literally when we were in college, we drank so much freaking beer that Bud Light would literally fucking hydrate us basically.
Yes, probably.
It was so bad at some points, but
But
yeah.
also, I don't know. I know some guys that used to drink before games in college because it helped them take a little bit of the edge off. They wouldn't get blitzed. They wouldn't get lit up or anything like that.
Yeah,
Not like,
I mean,
I don't know.
I wouldn't drink
I,
before a game. I would drink sometimes like on Thursday nights just to relax, but I would never do it before or during a game.
I do it certainly after.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Especially if you won
Yeah,
or had a good game.
definitely after the game.
Well, at New Mexico State, there weren't many of those wins, but
Well, hey, we celebrated the goods and the
yeah,
bads, the
we
ups and
sure
the downs,
did.
mostly the downs and the bads. But my God, I mean, we probably led the country in sorrow,
In
beer drinking. I
sorrow.
don't know.
Well, in everything, in touchdowns given up, basically. But
Mhm.
that leads us into what we're talking about today, right?
Yes, under the influence and other not so brilliant ideas in sports, or were they? So before we get started, I want to say that my sources are from Jacob Shelton of Ranker.com. I think it's Ranker, not the Ranker. I think it's just Ranker.com.
Yep.
Yeah,
Same
okay.
here.
So I think I could go on for hours on the entire 1986 New York Mets season and all the cocaine driven booze just crush and pill snorting world champions. But I think it's better to do a full podcast on them instead of a 10-minute rant about them. And
Yeah, we may do a full episode just on that season. I mean, it's that intense.
yeah, it is certainly a story worth telling again. However, it is important to note that Dale Strawberry, the Mets' #1 overall draft pick in the 1980 season and winner of the Rookie Year in the 1983 season, home run leader in 1988, four-time World Series champion, 8-time All-Star, and huge addict of amphetamines, had his ups and downs, obviously, in his career and after it as well. So during his career, Darryl had been like an avid user of amphetamines. It was kind of sad, as he had a real addiction with it.
Mm-hmm.
And as I said before, he played with them for most of his career. But after baseball, however, is kind of when it reared its real ugly side. When he was asked what kind of drugs he took, he said, "quote everything. I could
Everything.
everything. I could shoot dope, shoot heroin, smoke crack. It didn't matter. Drink alcohol. It didn't matter. Whatever I liked to do on that particular day, that was it, and that's what I was gonna do."
All at the same time,
Darryl
probably,
was
too.
Evidently arrested in Tampa in 1999 when he was in possession of cocaine, and also tried to solicit an undercover cop while he was
Ooh.
at the same time.
Yikes.
So he's obviously had a lot of struggles in life, and had his to his absolute credit, came is like completely sober for the last 11 years. However, I was just thinking about this. If you're Darryl fucking Strawberry and it's in 1999, why are you like trying to solicit prostitution?
Yeah, I mean, he's a millionaire at this point, probably, even in those days.
Maybe.
Maybe, yeah, depending. Well, for that time period, even the money that's coming is equivalent to millions now. Like, why do you need to do this? I know this is very off
Make
topic.
a fucking phone call.
Yeah, seriously.
Darryl Strawberry. Jeez, you don't got to do this shit yourself.
I mean, it just goes to show, this is another off story, but Cristiano Ronaldo, he literally pays his wife $100,000 a month just to basically be with him.
Wait, pays his wife?
He pays her $100,000 a month just to live her life lavishly.
Sounds like true love.
True love at first sight.
So
if he's doing that, and Daryl Strawberry can't find love, like what does that have to tell you about society, man?
I don't know if he was necessarily looking for love, but more of a BJ on the side. But
I almost spit my beer, Jesus.
So the craziest story about all this Daryl Strawberry shit was the fact that it wasn't anything having to do with drugs or alcohol. It was his in-between inning antics where he told a radio show basically that he would just have sex with fans in between innings. Yeah. Hey, babe. Hey. What's up?
Hey, baby. Are you Daryl Strawberry?
Hey. Yeah, I am. What are you trying to do something?
Well,
like right now?
I'm just sitting here first base line and like.
Yeah, I know. Hey,
well,
come here real quick. Let's go.
I know it's. Can I come into the dugout?
Yes.
What? Okay. Hold on.
Yeah.
Let me
right
tell my
now.
husband here real quick. I gotta leave him.
Hey, how's it going, buddy? Just gonna show your wife the
don't
inside
worry
of this
about him.
locker room.
He's a nobody.
Hey, I'm Daryl. I'm
Hi.
a nobody. Yeah. Hey. Hey. Yeah, no, but I think it's crazy that his own teammates would even like.
How did that even happen? Like, how did he actually do this? Did he really bring them like into the clubhouse mid inning and fuck them?
So I never saw any explanation on it. I don't know if he like made a deal with some people outside that were like, hey, let this person in the locker room. And, in between innings, if she's in there, I'm just
how? I mean, good for him if he could do that and get away with it, but oh my lord.
His teammates covered for him, too. It's a crazy thing.
That's crazy.
His
like, I don't even understand how that can happen.
Like, hey, it's just Daryl being Daryl. Come on, man.
Daryl fucking Strawberry. What a guy.
Yeah.
Just getting BJ's mid-game. That's crazy.
Yeah. That's, I don't know. It was a pretty remarkable story. When I first read that, I was like, what? No. There's things you can do. You can do drugs. You could do cocaine. There's a lot more than a couple. There's a lot of baseball players in the 80s that did coke.
Just coach. Hey, where's Daryl? He's supposed to be out there. Oh, sorry, coach. He'll be a couple more minutes. He's
taking a dump right now. Don't worry about him. No. I need to speak with him right now.
Yeah.
Where's he at?
He'll be here, coach. Just give it a few minutes. I know the ump's waiting on him specifically before we can start the game, but he'll be out in a couple.
No, he needs to come right now. All right, I'm literally get out of the way. I need to go see what's going on.
No, coach, just relax.
What?
He's in the locker room.
Relax. The game is about to start.
He's changing his socks. Okay, he's doing something else.
He had hours to do that. We're about oh my god. We're about ready to get this game canceled on us. We're going to have to forfeit. I got to write up a new roster now.
Well,
he can't play tonight. What's
he
doing in there?
Coach, we need him. He's our best player right
dump?
now. We need him.
You're not answering me. I'm thinking he's probably doing something else. What is he doing?
Coach, just listen.
What?
Okay,
I am.
I hate to say it, but he's an addict. He's an addict to Jesus. He's worshiping currently.
So if I go in there right now, he's going to be on his knees.
On his knees, hands and knees, praising God. Yes, coach. Just let him.
You sure something else is not going to be on their hands and knees if I go in there? You're quite positive of that.
Well, I mean. God, man.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty crazy. I don't know. What do you got? Find anything?
Yeah, well, I'm sure everybody knows the Dock Ellis story.
Yes. To this day, no video footage on that game.
Well, there is video footage, but it's just bits
Really?
and pieces. Yeah, I don't know if the MLB has just made this it's not spoken about, but they only release bits and pieces. They can't release the full thing. Like, it's just one of those unwritten rules kind of where they're just like not going to release the full game, you know?
Oh man, you know how cool it would be to see like you could just zoom in on Doc's face in like the 5th inning. You're like, whoa, dude, he is in outer space right now. He is fucking gone, but he's throwing a baseball.
Well, there is actually a documentary. It's called Something Something Documentary, but it's like a pun on words, Doc as in Dock Ellis documentary.
It's not like 30 for 30 or
but
something.
it's out there. It's pretty cool. But okay, so in 151 years of baseball, all right, there's only been 302 no hitters, 302 games with no hitters or pitchers through no hitters. Okay, and only one of them, at least that we know of, was done so completely high on acid, which is the Dock Ellis story. And he was a good player. I mean, just a little bit of his background. He was a big part of the Pittsburgh Pirates' 1971 World Series championship. And he actually played in the 1971 All-Star game. And that was the year. It was the first year ever where the starting 2 pitchers were pitchers of color. And started in the MLB All-Star game. So, and he was a big equal rights activist in that sense, very anti-racist, all that stuff. And he also helped the Yankees win the pennant in 1979. However, on to the story. Hold on, I need a sip of beer. June 11th, 1970. Dock Ellis was on the West Coast trip with the Pirates, and the team was supposed to play the San Diego Padres the next day. Ellis, being Dock Ellis, he went to Los Angeles the night before the game to, quote, hang out with a friend. One thing led to the next, and before you knew it, they were on acid, on multiple drugs, and completely drunk out of their goddamn minds.
Yes. Yeah.
Dock Ellis.
Hey, I know you got a pitch tomorrow, but what do you say we do a little acid?
Just going straight to it. Hey, acid.
You want to go to do some acid?
Hell, they were probably on coke. I mean, it says multiple drugs, so I'm assuming weed. I'm assuming. I hope not heroin, but oh my god.
No, who knows? But coke was definitely in the mix, and throw a little Jack Daniels in there, I'm sure. And
so it was a long night, and Dock Ellis woke up the next morning, and they didn't realize what day it was. They were that fucked up.
Yes.
And
good. That's what you want out of your starting pitcher.
So the next day, June 12th at noon, he didn't realize he had to play that night, and so he took another hit of acid at noon.
What? He did?
Yes.
He's like, crap. Dude,
at
I'm
noon,
still kind of tripping right now, and I have to play. Guess I'll just take another trip. Yep.
And it wasn't until like an hour later when his friend told him that like this friend isn't even a guy on the team. It's just like a friend that was in LA. And the friend apparently sobered up a little bit, and he told him, he's like, "Hey, you're playing in San Diego tonight."
Tonight.
Like, and he was like, "Oh shit, I got to get to San Diego." An hour goes by, he finally hops on a plane. He doesn't even get to San Diego until 90 minutes before first pitch.
And he's like he's on the moon right now.
Yeah, because he had literally took another hit of acid just a couple hours prior. And obviously I'm sure there's a little bit of hangover action on multiple drugs the night before.
I bet.
So we all know what happens after this. He goes on to throw a 9-inning no-hitter. And what a lot of people don't know is that he actually walked 8 batters and hit 1 batter.
Oh my god. I think after like the 5th walk and a bean batter, they'd be like, "Hey, should we go get him?"
Nah, just let him go. I mean, okay, imagine if you were the coach. What are you doing? What are you doing? You know he's under the influence.
Fuck, are we winning?
Why are you letting him stay?
Obviously, like, how much? What's the score?
I didn't do much research into the actual game. I know, of course, it's a shutout. It's a no-hitter, but I don't know how much they scored.
Well,
But
you can't
okay,
have
so it wasn't
no-hitter
until
with runs,
14
though.
years after that game that Dock Ellis came out and told the story of what actually happened, and he said he couldn't even feel the ball or even see his own catcher, let alone anything else. Quote, I started having a crazy idea in the fourth inning that Richard Nixon was the home plate umpire.
What the
And
hell?
once I thought I was pitching a baseball to Jimi Hendrix, who to me was holding a guitar and swinging it over the plate. I remember diving out of the way of a ball I thought was a line drive. I jumped. The ball wasn't hit hard and never reached me. What does that even mean, dude?
No, I guess it makes you do some interesting stuff. I heard a story about Jimi Hendrix one time, and he was playing guitar. I think it was actually at Hippie Fest. Why am I drawing a blank
Woodstock.
on this right now? Yeah, thank you. That while he was playing his guitar, he like looked down and he wasn't playing a guitar. He was just playing like a raw steak. He was looking at a steak.
What the hell? Yeah.
And it was like, what? And just kept playing music.
That's
just a raw piece of beef. He's like, okay. All
and
right.
this was at Woodstock, this story?
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. Well, Dock Ellis, I mean, just imagining Richard Nixon as the home plate umpire, that's gotta be
what the fuck?
that's a huge trip, man.
Yeah.
But so he was known to start like in pitch games under the influence. Obviously, this is a time that you could do that. 1970, of course.
Yeah.
In the 70s was a mad time, but he couldn't recall a single game in his own professional career that he was even sober. He could like in
Wow.
interviews, they're like,
Not
so
one
what'd
game.
you do here, basically? And he's like, nope, I can't remember a single game where I wasn't intoxicated somehow or another. So ironically, after his baseball career, he got sober and became a counselor for drug addicts, focusing on prisoners help kick their addictions. Yeah. The Dock Ellis story is one of those iconic ones that's just everybody
Well, when you
knows
hear
about, but
that
they don't know
somebody
the
was
details
like-
of it, you know?
Yeah. You know, when you hear the story of somebody throwing it was a no-hitter, not a perfect game, but a no-hitter, you're like, wow, dude, that's impressive. You're like, yeah, that's not the end of it.
He was
You're like, what do
completely
you-
high on acid.
You mean that's a really good game? Yeah, he was fucked up.
Okay,
Like, out of his damn mind.
just imagine kicking, getting fucked up the night prior, let alone doing something the day of. It's mind-boggling to me how one can
Yeah.
even perform that.
Yeah, that's...
What's really cool, so I went to a bunch of Pirates games this summer, and in their clubhouse, in the section I was in, it was an indoor spot, and you can see they have encased Dock Ellis's shoes from that no-hitter, and I have a picture of it. I may post it on our social media before we post this episode, but the shoes itself are like, they're not even shoes. Like they're so weird. They're tiny, and I don't even know how you could even classify them as shoes. They were literally just like
Dude,
a strap of leather around your foot. Like
I am going to look this up on Google right now so I know what you're talking about. This just sounds...
I think I sent you a picture when I saw it, like immediately when I was at the Pirates game, but I may post it to our social media, like I said, when we post this episode. But
Dock Ellis cleats. Oh, they don't have a picture. No, they don't. Damn it.
I'm looking it up too. I mean, I have it in my phone. Yeah, I'll send you the picture. I'll resend it to you after this episode. But
For sure. Yeah, please do. So, another baseball related thing. I don't know what it is with pitchers and doing this shit, but whatever. It was May 17th, 1998. In the Bronx. New York.
Bronx.
Old David Wells toes the rubber somehow and pitched the game's 13th ever perfect game in the modern era.
Wow.
Feat that, if you are not a baseball fan or even a sports fan, is so rare that virtually every show on television at that time will just like cut to the Yankees game or cut to whoever's playing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, it could just be anything. Like, can you imagine? You're like, and welcome back to Oregon Public Broadcasting. Today we're talking to Professor Alan Adams of the University of Southeast Chicago School of Fictionally Oppressed Movie Actors.
Beep,
And today we're going to be speaking...
we
yes,
are informed to...
looks like we are going to have to cut to a delayed interview to swing over to Fox Sports for a historical event regarding a baseball player or something doing something called a perfect game. I really don't know what that is, folks, but I'm sorry, Professor.
Such a progressive, liberal Oregon newscaster. I love that character, actually.
But even the people, like, that's how important baseball was back then, because even then, if you were, for whatever reason, tuned into that, you'd be like, oh, shit, okay, all right, I understand. Sorry, Professor, we're going to have to watch this perfect game. So it was an amazing game, of course, 27 up, 27 down. Made even more impressive considering David Wells was, quote, half drunk with bloodshot eyes, monster breath, and a skull-rattling hangover.
Oh, my Lord.
Yes, David Wells towed the rubber moderately drunk and did one of the most difficult things in all of sports. How he got to that point was actually pretty funny. So evidently the night before, Wells attended Saturday Night Live. And when leaving, Marcy Klein said, quote, hey, why don't you come to the after party? And Wells was like,
wait, was he like part of the SNL skits, or was he just going to the show?
I think he was just going to the show.
Okay.
And she's like, when you come to the after party, I don't know who Marcy Klein is. I'm a little too young for her. He's like, no, I got to pitch him around. She goes, you have to come. Dennis Rodman came once, and the next day he had one of the best games of his career. He had 23 or 25 rebounds or something. Wilson said, I can't say she called me a pussy, but I can't say she didn't either. So I went and I looked around, and there's Jimmy Fallon, Will Forte, and probably Fred Armisen, and one thing just led to another. I think I got home at 5:30, probably got 2.5 hours of sleep. I knew this wasn't a good thing. So I just tried to stay away from everybody, was worried somebody might get high off the fumes almost. I had consumed a lot of alcohol. I was a dummy, but I just got caught up in the moment. You can thank Marcy Klein for that. I had one job to do, so I went out there and did it.
Oh my God. Of course he blames her.
He's like, I was the one who put myself in that predicament. Before the game, my bullpen was horrific. Just threw 2 balls out of the stadium because I was so frustrated. I couldn't throw a fucking curveball. And got to the point where I just quit. I said, that's it. I was very superstitious. Yeah.
Dude. Talk about anger issues, too. Literally throwing the ball out of the park. Hey, that happened this last year, right?
Trevor Bauer.
Yeah, that's right. He literally got so pissed he fucking chucked it over center field.
And then traded like 2 days later.
Mm-hmm. For the same incident. Yeah, I mean, that's one of those things you can't do. But, dude, David Wells.
Yeah. So the game's going on, and it goes through like 1 inning, 2 innings, 3 innings. Like, oh, 9 up, 9 down. That's pretty good actually. People are kind of getting that buzz a little bit. So he's like, how I walked back to the dugout between innings, always sitting on the first step of the dugout, getting a drink after the second out. I knew I had it going on in the 4th or 5th inning when I heard Sterling and Kay on the radio said I had a perfect game, and I just went like pretends like he plugs his fingers in his ears and just goes la 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 like like anybody would do. That's how you gotta react, I think.
Yeah, I mean, just
like la 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 la.
You
I'm not
can't
hearing this.
let anybody talk to you. Oh, we talked about this on another episode, or maybe it was a draft, but like somebody one of those teammates that's gonna go to you. Yeah, it was Dane. That's right. Like a teammate going up to you and be like, "Hey, you got a perfect game going." You know that?
Oh, thanks, bud. I didn't fucking know that. I had no idea.
No,
Thanks.
listen, you don't understand. Like, this can be huge for you, bro.
Great. Yeah.
You can make history, man. Don't mess this up. We need you. We need you in this moment.
Great. It's I'm just how am I not gonna think about that? Is a
You know,
little
you've had some
confusing.
strikeouts. I need some more of that.
Are we
And
seriously still talking? Are you really doing this?
just go out there. Hey, listen,
What?
don't
I
don't listen to
am
the fans.
now.
Stay in your own zone, okay?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And you'll be fine, man. Don't worry about it. Don't listen to any of the other bullshit antics people are throwing at you, all right? Just close it
Right.
out. You'll be fine, man. Do your thing.
I got to be honest with you. I was doing my thing and doing all of those things until you brought it up.
Well, no, man. I'm just trying to help you out because you definitely need my help because you definitely weren't going to your
Was
full potential before I
what?
said something.
I wasn't what?
You wasn't going and playing to your full potential before I said anything. So,
It's
well,
been 12 up, 12 down.
well, you know, the thing is, I see what's going on.
There's
And
nothing I actually physically can't do any better.
well, you could have had a couple strikeouts there in the second
God.
inning. But
Hey, Skip, who is this guy?
yeah. Hey, just do you, man. Just do you.
I will. And thanks again for doing that. Because there actually are some people that have done that before.
Yeah.
You're like, oh man, has he got a perfect game going? Dude, that's just like you want to punch somebody who does that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Come into a bar or something like that, and say you're like in Pittsburgh watching your team play, and all of you are just like in the bar, just kind of like you guys are winning. It's like 3-0. It's in the 7th inning, and you guys are up to bat, and it's actually like kind of quiet.
Mm-hmm.
And you get in there, and you're like, "What the fuck's wrong with everybody? Hey, what's going on, man? What's going on? Hey,
Listen, man. There's a no-hitter happening here, all right?
no hitter.
Yeah.
Wow,
Okay, I
that's
mean,
pretty good. You say he has a no hitter or a perfect game?
well, a perfect game, but I don't
Man,
want to
I
be
hope he
too
doesn't
optimistic.
blow that.
No, don't say that. Why would you say that? Just let
Ah.
him do his thing.
See, actually, I think a real baseball fan wouldn't even say that out loud. They'd walk over to him and be like, "Hey, dude, like, are you serious right now?
Yeah, they would.
What are you doing?" And the guy would be like, "Imagine if that was you. You were sitting at a bar and somebody does that. How do you explain that to him? You got to grab him.
You
and
have
gotta
to
talk
grab
to
him and fucking say, "Listen here, you motherfucker.
Hey,
just
dude,
shut up.
Like,
Shut up.
we're
Shut up.
flirting
Shut up. Shut up.
with,
Just
yeah,
shut up.
exactly. Like, there's like
All right.
ghosts of baseball in the dugouts and bars and everywhere within a 2-mile radius of the city, just waiting for someone to say it. And once they do, they go like, "Oh, hey, you hear that? He said it over here. All right, make the next guy get a double."
Yeah, as soon as somebody
Yeah,
says something, it's gonna be blown.
So that's why like people are just like, "Hey, dude, shh, 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 shh. He's got a perfect game," like whispering as if
Mhm.
somebody's fucking listening to him, like a,
Yes, yes.
That's just such a baseball thing to do. Oh man. But anyway, so he's like, I remember, Wells goes, I remember looking into the dugout and seeing David Cohn hunched down, sort of hiding in his jacket with his sunglasses on. That kind of cracked me up a little bit. Then I would get back into the dugout and he called me a pussy. He said, quote, "You got nothing. You're a pussy if you don't show him a knuckleball."
Oh my
End quote. And
god.
he's like, I said, "Man, I don't even have a knuckleball." And he just said, "You got nothing out there." And him doing that really helped me get loose. And you're like, oh, that's actually pretty good.
That's awesome,
pussy.
man. It's
Throw a knuckleball.
yeah, a teammate like egging you on like that. Like that's a good thing for that scenario, I think, because it lets your mind distract from something else other than being perfect. So,
Sure thing. Wells ended up going 17-4 that year. Went 4-0 in the playoffs that year, and he's won the World Series. So he ended up having a fucking really good year. And he wasn't that great going in before. He had like a 5.1 ERA like going into that game, and then it just like after that he was lights out. 17-4.
17-4 is nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And then 4-0 in the playoffs, man. Wow.
Yep.
Did he win any awards that season? Because that's worthy of it. I mean,
well, I think the only person who had a better record was a guy on his team. I think Clemens actually had a better record than him. They won 114 games that year.
Yeah, which That's unreal,
So it
man.
was, I don't know,
114 of
quite a few.
162, but well, I don't have any other big stories. I do have a couple
Little
others
tidbits.
though, little tidbits. But before we do that, I need to grab another beer and
For
take
show.
a quick piss, and we'll start back up here soon, huh?
Alrighty, we'll be
All
right back.
right. And we're back.
And we're back. Sorry.
And we're back. Yeah, so like I said, I don't have any other big stories, but so this kind of quickly turned into a baseball slash pitchers podcast. But
God, another one?
yeah, Dennis Boyd. So
Okay.
he played for the Red Sox, and he won a career high 16 games in 1986, all games in which he was tucking coke under his hat at the mound.
Yes.
Boyd said the upper management knew he was using and that they didn't care as long as he was winning. Quote, I was honest about what I was doing and told him to leave me alone and I'll be all right.
What
I learned
the
to deal with it
hell?
myself because not one time I've ever played baseball I'd ever pissed in a cup. Not one time.
Oh my
I've
God.
never been tested in no form or no fashion. I'm killing myself, but they loved my ability and my talent, so they condoned it. Dude.
Yes. Beautiful. I
What
actually
a-
got a quick little tidbit myself, honestly.
He at least knew what he like. He even quoted and said he was killing himself, but he was
Yeah,
like,
I
I was
don't
winning
give a fuck.
games, so if it works, it works.
And they were just like, I don't really care. We're not gonna
Yup.
tell anybody. Well, a lot of players like have had success playing under the influence. I'm sure a lot of people have failed playing under the influence, but John Daly was one notorious in golf that for whatever reason was like, here's a quote. He's like, I played a lot hungover. I played a few rounds where I was still drunk from the night before. One time on the PGA, some event, I played the front nine, not very good. Drank 4 Coors Lights at the turn, then shot like 4 or 5 under on the back nine and finished 7th in the tournament. Those beers released a lot of pressure. Maybe,
Wow.
man, maybe.
He may have. It's one of those things where it does. It probably did work for him. It just completely loosens your body.
Sounds like we're really, really supporting the idea of doing this.
Yes.
Which I'm not. I'm not at all. All I'm saying is that people have had success with it. Some people probably not.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a story that Michael Jordan played that famous flu game, and he was actually speculated to be hungover and not actually sick.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Could
know.
be true.
I've watched highlights of that game and it looked like he had the flu sweats, man. It's
Or
close. I don't know. It is a
did hear
good
that he
conspiracy theory
played-
though.
Yeah, I did hear he played freaking a ton of golf, and was, if you look at him, he's sunburnt and shit all over the place. Charles Barkley, another one.
Yeah, Charles Barkley. He's been known to
1992.
literally be on like completely wasted on TV nowadays
ahead.
too. No, he's completely wasted on TV nowadays. So,
I kind of like it.
but no, I want to hear his
but
story.
Barkley was with the Sixers evidently at one point. It was like gonna get, from the story I read, he was like going to get traded to the Lakers,
Mm-hmm.
and his agent told him like basically the deal was going through, and he was like, all right, well shit, let's celebrate. Started slamming some drinks and like at lunch or something like that, and then he found out later like the deal fell through, and he was like, oh fuck.
Oh, great.
I'm feeling pretty good right now, so I went out and played that night, and he dropped 23 points in a loss though, 9 boards.
Wow,
Belly
almost
full
a
of
double
alcohol.
double. Is basketball one of those sports that you can play under the influence? Is it?
I don't know. I don't know what it is with basketball. I don't know what it is with basketball, man.
Yeah.
Like, you would seem like that would be incredibly hard to play drunk.
Yeah, well, my next one, another baseball one, of course. Um, Everybody knows Mickey Mantle and what he's done being an all-star and one of the
Oh, yeah.
all-time baseball greats. But a lot of people don't know in 1963, he was actually sidelined for a few weeks due to a foot injury.
Mm.
And rather than spend the time rehabbing, he got wasted constantly.
Oh.
But unfortunately, he had the foot injury, and it was one of those times where you needed to play if there wasn't enough players, and he got called in to pinch hit at the last minute. Mickey Mantle, he remembers the at bat, quote, seeing 3 balls coming his way and swinging at the middle one and hopefully hitting the ball.
All right.
Literally jacks it 400 feet.
What?
Yes.
He actually hit the... Oh.
I mean, I know that's literally one instance and one play of being under the influence, but could you imagine being so drunk, seeing a foot injury at one for sure, and then wasted out of your goddamn mind every fucking day until you got better, and then they're like, "Oh, Mickey, hey, listen, it's bottom of the 8th, and we're down 2. We really need you here."
I'm drunk.
Yeah, see, the thing is,
Yes.
we're down 3 players, okay, and they have a real injury. I mean, I'm not saying yours is not a real injury, okay, but
You're right. I'm lit up.
okay, I get that, but
bad.
I get that. Listen,
Okay.
you're batting .365.
Yes. While sober.
Yeah, well, I think you can do good even if you're a little. You'll be like an average player if you're a little bit under the influence. Come on,
fuck it. Give me the bat.
Go on.
Give me the bat.
Let's go, Mickey.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. How are you? Hey, Blue. Blue, how's it going? What am I doing here? Batting. Hey. All right.
Come on, Mickey. Get on out there. Let's go.
All right. What do you want me to do? Again, hit it?
Uh-oh.
There's no
I don't like it. I don't like this. We shouldn't have put him in there, Coach.
All right, here we go. Throw me the ball. Come on, pitcher. Throw it, you fucker. Oh,
and it's gone.
It's out of the damn park. Holy shit, I did it. I did it. Fucker. I mean, if you were actually lit up and you got back to the dugout and you're like, holy, you got to act cool.
Yeah, you definitely do.
You gotta act like, see you fucking losers. I can do this when I'm drunk and hurt. You guys suck.
Mm-hmm.
Sit down and immediately get next to like one of your best friends, and they're like, "Dude, what the hell happened to you?" And you just go like, "I have no fucking clue. I absolutely do not tell anybody that I'm saying this, but I have no clue how I made contact with this. In fact, I swung at the ball that was in the ball. I don't know how it went out, but it did. I don't know, man. I mean, there's just some great stories like that. I love hearing about just ridiculous things in sports where you're like, what? He did what?
Yeah,
she did
I
what?
got another
like,
one for you.
When,
Keon Clark,
there's a couple
NBA.
like that. They don't necessarily have to be with like, you know, being drunk or on drugs or something like that. The Nancy Kerrigan story was a fucking famous one where you're just like, wait, hold on. It was Nancy Kerrigan is the one who got hurt. It was
Tanya Harding.
Tanya Harding's like ex-husband was like, I'll beat her ass with a fucking crowbar or some shit like that, or like beat her knee. What the fuck?
I don't know if you've seen the actual Tanya movie. It's with Margot Robbie playing Tanya Harding, but they don't even show the hacking. They just like cut to a scene of Margot Robbie / Tanya Harding smiling, knowing what's going to happen. Like they don't prove. Yeah.
Yeah, it's I don't know. Accomplishing
it's like, one of those like iconic sports things that you know what happened and you've seen all the clips, and it's just one of those your mind takes you to that time period and you see that interview of
Yeah.
Nancy Karen going, why?
Yeah, right.
Why?
Yeah, exactly. Why? Yeah, she's. I mean, it's so horrible to
Like,
laugh
that's
at,
such an
but
innocent thing to do or say. Like, why would they do this to me? Why?
right. I know how you're feeling. I mean, it's or like where you're just like, this is really uncomfortable watching this. They're like watching John Daly after like he clearly got in a fight with somebody like the night before, where his face is just totally scratched up and he's smoking a cigarette walking down the fairway. Like, Daly, come on, dude, you can't just be doing that. But it takes you back to the time where that was acceptable in the 90s, where you could be like, God, dude, you can get fucking kind of drunk.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they. I doubt that was even legal or even allowed.
Speaking of that time, though, this was kind of in that time period, 1998. Well, Keon Clark, okay, he was in the NBA.
Oh, dude, I know where you're going with this. I remember that guy legitimately played
Yeah,
like
yeah.
every game, right?
Mm-hmm. So he never won a ring, and he never was like a star player, but he was a role player, okay? And so he was at a court hearing for a drug and weapon charge. And in that hearing, he said that he had never played a game sober, ever.
Wait,
And he said that he had never played a game sober, ever. And he said he started drinking and playing starting in high school.
What?
After he was drafted by the Magic in 1998, he worked drinking into his halftime routine. Quote, it just never stopped.
Yes.
Halftime routine of literally just going back into the locker room, pounding some liquor into you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
off the top of your head,
like
you
I
mentioned
asked before,
baseball.
is basketball one of those sports that you can do that?
Dude, I feel like you would throw up.
Yeah, that much running up and down the court.
Yeah. I mean, I played an intramural softball game in college, and I
Okay.
was so fucking drunk
Uh-huh.
off
I like
Southern
this.
Comfort, and I could not. I had to play catcher in slow pitch softball, and all I remember was going like 2 for 3 with 2 singles. That's how bad
Yeah.
it was. But I was like, dude, there's no way. If I was on acid, I'm going to be able to throw a fucking perfect game at the highest level in professional sports in baseball. I'm not going to be able to play basketball.
I remember at Mount Union, I played intramural soccer in the spring. We were kind of frowned upon to do intramural sports outside of football season, but us kickers said, fuck it, we can do whatever we want. So
Yeah.
we played intramural soccer, and we would typically have, like, they weren't weekends, they were like Thursday or Friday nights, night games, and we would get together and we would get fucking drunk before the soccer games, and that was rough. Like, it was rough for me. I'm when I play soccer, I'm a striker. I'm a goal scorer, so I don't do that much running up and down. I'm not a midfielder per se, so I guess it kind of works out. But dude, I can't imagine playing basketball drunk. That's another story. Like,
Yeah. No, that would. I don't know. Baseball. I don't know how you can even connect with it. Golf. I think we've all played golf drunk 1 or 2 times before, and it's not. I mean, Daly is an animal because that takes such concentration. Once you like, some people actually play better once they have 1 or 2 beers in them, and I'm actually probably one of them because it kind of takes a little pressure off. You get a little sauced up, your game fucking goes down.
Well, okay. I know you're
playing golf
obviously a lot better player than I am, and I'm a very leisure player, to say the least. And I'll be honest, man. Since becoming a quote-unquote adult, I don't think I've ever played a round where I was sober. I haven't.
Well, don't feel bad because a lot of people don't either.
Yeah.
I'd say 90% of people who play golf do not play without an adult beverage.
I probably go through a sixer just about every time I play at 18. So
Yeah, if I'm playing well, then I'll really, really back off. I'm playing with a bunch of buddies like everybody else has, then
Yeah.
you'll bust out the good stuff or something like that. But off the top of your head, if you had to guess one Major League Baseball player who played drunk, who do you think you would choose?
Like, old or
You're like,
new?
anybody. You're like, that guy, it's not confirmed, but I'm fucking 100% positive that guy fucking smashed a couple of IPAs before he got up to bat today.
Well, I could think Roger Clemens, but nah. I don't know.
I think he was doing a little something else before the games.
Who?
Clemens.
Yeah.
I think he was,
That's who I guessed, yeah.
well, yeah, I think he was doing a little something different, though, than drinking a couple beers. I think he was
I mean,
probably
obviously he was more than like, yeah.
the little greenies.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of the greenies, Todd Marinovich, remember that name?
Yeah.
Yeah, when he played for the Raiders in the NFL in the early 90s. Well, his dad, he pushed him to be the perfect athlete and had him lifting weights literally before he could fucking talk. I think there's videos out there of his dad like giving him resistance strength training in the fucking crib.
Good lord.
Yeah. Well, Todd Marinovich, he didn't like that lifestyle of being told what to do. So, I mean, before he even got into high school, he was smoking pot daily, and he was shooting heroin and smoking crack sometimes during games.
What the fuck?
As a quarterback, just heroin and crack, no big deal, while high. And one of the other crazier stories is
I think
in game.
Yeah, go ahead.
He was, yeah, okay, in game, he was in a bathroom stall trying to smoke crack, and his glass pipe broke. It cut his finger, and literally filled his bloodstream with the fucking crack.
What?
Okay, the glass pipe broke, and it got into his bloodstream.
Yeah.
Because it was like he was holding the pipe, and it got into his system that way, so it went straight to his bloodstream. And the only thing you could go out there do is go out in the field and start calling plays. I mean, he just went out there and said, "Fuck it, I gotta play." I mean, I'm the starting quarterback, so.
I want to think that Nolan Ryan smashed a couple beers before he went out and pitched a game, or like, I don't know. I want to believe that would be a person that I think would do it.
Well, I know we said Clemens, but looking back, definitely Babe Ruth.
Oh yeah, I mean that guy fucking ate cigarettes and fucking hot dogs and chocolate shakes and alcohol at the same time. But I don't know. I think Ben Roethlisberger in the NFL seems like a guy that would do that too. Because it's weird. You look at some of these NFL quarterbacks and their bodies, and you're like, they're not fucking like Patrick Mahomes, guys. These kind of older quarterbacks. Like, Aaron Rodgers doesn't have a fucking raging six-pack and a fucking, like, those guys seem like, they probably slosh a couple beers back here and there.
That day and age is slowly but surely dimming out.
I think it is. I don't think you can be a David Wells in Major League Baseball anymore and be good. I don't know. Maybe you can.
This is literally like I keep thinking of players that may be doing this, like that have these bodies. CeCe Sabathia, another New York pitcher.
Obviously, but that guy's huge.
He's a massive human being.
Is legitimately how big?
Let me Google it. Actually, I don't want to get this wrong. 6'6", 300 exactly.
I
yeah.
I heard that before. Gosh.
It's a big pitcher, man.
Yeah,
it's
he's
a big ass
Randy
pitcher.
Johnson seems like he's a guy who could probably fucking chug a couple beers.
He definitely smoked cigs on the daily.
In his 90s era with that mullet, you can imagine that with a white tee and like the super bright white jeans. And like 90s, listening to some Pearl Jam with a fucking Mariners hat on and a heater.
Yes.
That's for sure.
Yes.
Man, Mark McGuire to listen to some like fucking country music, just like.
Oh yeah, Mark McGuire. Yeah, listen to some Alice in Chains walk up song.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm reading the story as we speak. Sorry, the Babe Ruth literally was in Chicago one night and stayed out the entire night drinking with the White Sox
They were
team.
probably just like, dude, Babe Ruth wants to.
Like, he was playing for the Yankees, went to Chicago, and was fucking drinking with the White Sox at a fucking bar the night before the game. Went up and played and destroyed the White Sox without any sleep.
Yeah, no,
that's nuts.
I don't know. I mean, like I said, this was a time where, or that was a time where you could basically just do whatever the fuck you wanted. There was no testing. They're like,
absolutely
probably encouraged you to drink before the games. I don't know. So
yeah.
Anyway, man, that's really all I got for today.
Yeah. We are getting close to the hour mark, but I think we're gonna cut it a little bit short. That's all I have as well.
Again,
so
if you like our show, if you don't like it, then I'll fight you.
I will fight you, and if you do like it, I will kiss you. Whoa! Did I go there?
No. If you have any questions for us, ask us at I think it's Max and Alex at Gmail, or what is it?
It is 2retiredkickers at gmail.com.
If you have
send us an email if you like the show.
If you have a legit question, we'll ask it on the air. We'll both or on the air, on the podcast, we'll both answer it. Give us our takes. Give us some good ones, folks. Like, give me a hard one. Give me one. Give me a real brain buster as ball buster or whatever.
Ball buster.
What does he say in the movie? Billy Madison.
What movie?
That doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well,
email us, folks. Then we'll say.
Hell, if you don't like us, I mean, you guys are listening this deep into the podcast, so fucking tell us why you don't like us if you do. But, yeah, dude, I'm gonna sign off here. So.
For sure. We'll talk to you a little bit later.
All right, buddy. Peace.
Peace.